Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thanks so much for joining me on this webinar entitled The Ultimate Way to Build Your Own Business Based on Your Knitting or Crochet Hobby Without Selling Products or Patterns. Wow, that's quite a statement, don't you think? So why not sit back and let me explain how I achieved this and how you can too. I'm going to be answering some questions I'm often asked relating to a little known world of tech editing. Now, for now, think of that as pattern checking. I'm going to be discussing how a number of my students have created successful careers in this field and how there's a big demand out there for tech editors. But before we start, I want to make you an offer. Simply by watching and listening to this webinar, to the very end, you will get an opportunity to join one of my introductory tech editing workshops for free. So please stay with me for 20 minutes or so for your chance to sign up for your free workshop. So here's the questions I'm going to be addressing. First of all, are tech editors in demand? I'll be giving you some statistical evidence about that. Then we look at more detail about what a tech editor actually is, what skills are required to become one, and how can you become a tech editor? So here we go. Are tech editors in demand? Absolutely, without a doubt. I have never been out of work since I started. And since the pandemic, more designers are springing up who need their patterns checking. So let's look at some recent stats from yarnpond.com. This is a site where designers, tech editors, and pattern testers can find out about each other. So here are some recent stats. On this site, there are, at this point in time, 13,914 registered testers, 119 registered tech editors, 1,043 registered designers, and a number of other stats there as well. So that means there are about 8.5 designers for each tech editor, each. And that's just on one site. So bearing in mind that each designer usually writes several patterns, that's a really big demand. Also, individual designers aren't the only clients you can have. You can also have magazines, yarn companies, and book publishers amongst your clients. Let's look at what a tech editor is. Have you ever heard the term? Well, maybe you have and are curious to know what they do. Well, a tech editor checks a pattern, either knitting or crochet, from top to bottom in minute detail. As mentioned, your clients can be designers, yarn companies, magazines, or book publishers, basically anybody who needs their patterns checked thoroughly. Here are some things that tech editors check for. They make sure that the pattern works mathematically. All the numbers are correct for all sizes. They make sure that the pattern will actually produce the item as shown in the pattern and in all the correct sizes as stated in the pattern. They check all written text is grammatically correct and also that it's clear. They will check any charts or schematics there might be in the pattern and make sure that they match the detailed instructions given. They may need to check against something called a style sheet if there is one, and that's a way to make sure that the style and the formatting is consistent throughout the pattern. For example, are repeats such as brackets and asterisks used in a consistent way? They will check that things like increases and decreases have been worked consistently. So, for example, on a garment, do the armhole decreases match across the front and the back? Because if not, it's not going to be a very good fit. They will check whether all instructions are clearly explained and make sense for the difficulty level of the pattern, if that's given as well. Is the order that the sections are worked sensible for the audience? A tech editor would also make sure that nothing's missing and that everything that is there is needed. For example, in an abbreviation section, if there are abbreviations that are not used, should they be there or not? They make sure that all materials are included and any finishing instructions are clear. They may also need to give advice on making a pattern more concise if need be. For example, if the pattern is going into a magazine, space is tight. So you would look at things like, can any sections be referred back to in later instructions to save writing them out twice? Can any rows be combined in groups and then repeated? And so on. So what skills do you need to become a tech editor? Well, not everyone will be at the same level of knowledge. You can become a tech editor and concentrate on simpler patterns or techniques at the start. It's completely up to you what work you take on. But here are some of the core skills that you need. You should be a reasonably experienced knitter or crocheter who understands and can follow most patterns. Now, you really don't need to know all the techniques that there are out there. You can work up to those. You should have good attention to detail. For example, do you spot mistakes in places such as road signs, books, magazines? I do that all the time. They just jump out at me. You should understand the basics of text-based software such as Microsoft Word or Google Docs, as well as PDFs. You should be happy using basic math skills. Now, you don't have to be a genius with maths. You should be comfortable with arithmetic, and of course, you can use a calculator. You also may need to deal with multiple sets of numbers at the same time if you're tech editing a garment. So an understanding of spreadsheets can help. It's not completely essential though. Pen and paper is absolutely fine, and that's what I used for a long, long time. You should have an analytical mind and be able to apply shaping concepts to an item without making it. The tech editor does not make the item being checked. Absolutely not. That's the job of a pattern tester. You may work a small section of a pattern to check the stitch pattern matches the image, but that's all. So let me tell you a bit more about myself. I'm Cara Libertson, and I have over 10 years experience working as a technical editor and a trainer. And I am absolutely passionate about getting more knitters and crocheters, if that really is a word, involved in this little known sector of the industry. I want to encourage more people to turn their yarn hobby into a profitable business. That's what I did, and that's what several of my students have done too. So how can you become a tech editor? Well, first of all, I can help you. You can do it much faster than I could when I started out, because I run live introductory tech editing workshops 4 times a year, 2 for knitting and 2 for crochet. Now, I've designed these specifically to give you an insight into the world of tech editing, to find out whether it's something you would like to do and whether you have an aptitude for it. I don't want people to pay for a full course before they know whether they would enjoy the work. After the introductory workshop, if you do want to take things further, then I run comprehensive courses covering the whole world of tech editing, where I set assignments, 10, and I mark them individually. I don't just send you a standard solution. I answer the things that you have picked up in the tech edit, and that is unique. Nobody else is doing that. I also cover how to set up in business as a tech editor, how the pricing works, how to estimate how long things are going to take, how to plan your work, how to get clients, very important, and how to use social media to promote your business. All of those are included on the full course. So why don't you join us? Come and join me and my team on a tech editing workshop. They are great fun, as well as learning quite a bit along the way. But remember, I have a special offer coming up for you. But before that, on a little aside, are you also a designer? I am a designer and a tech editor, and part of my mission is to help designers understand the benefits of having their patterns tech edited. Think about it. How many times have you bought a pattern and it contained errors? Would you buy from that designer again? So if you are a designer, my tech editing workshops can help you with your pattern writing skills. But also, have you ever wondered how designers work out all the different sizes that are needed for a multiple garment pattern? Perhaps you'd like to create garment patterns, but you don't know how to make all these different sizes and how to make them size inclusive. Well, the process of working out all these measurements for multiple sizes is known as grading. Now, as part of the tech editing introductory workshops, I run some extra sessions called VIP sessions, where I show people how to grade a pattern and work out all those different sizes. So what is it in detail? It's the process of coming up with all the various size information needed for multiple sized garment pattern based on a sample size. Now, this is particularly useful for designers amongst you, but it's also a very useful extra service that you can offer as a tech editor, because not all designers know how to do it themselves. They can come up with a single design, but they don't know how to make all the sizes. How do I know how to grade? Well, as I say, I am a designer, but more than that, I'm also a pattern writer for other designers and yarn companies. Yes, the secret's out. Designers often do not write their own patterns. They use a pattern writer. And so I've got a lot of experience with grading. I have taken some grading courses in the past, and they can be rather involved. And I have found that they don't always give you the practical advice that you need to actually get started. So that's what I aim for with my extra sessions on grading, to get you up and running quickly. You can always add more information later, but you need to get started. So what's the aim of these sessions? I'm going to work through a real grading exercise with you, concentrating on the practicalities, not just the theory. We will use a sample specification and a given sample size to create all the measurements needed for up to 9 sizes. We'll translate those measurements into stitch and row information ready to write the pattern. So in detail, in session 1, we take the sample spec for a pattern created for one size. We use this together with industry body sizing charts to work out all the measurements needed for multiple sizes. And we use Excel or something similar to do that. In session 2, we then translate all those measurements we've calculated into stitches and row equivalents and carry out sanity checks to make sure everything still ties up after rounding and so on. In the 3rd session, we use my own formula to work out shaping requirements. I've got a few of these, such as how to work out even increases along a tapered sleeve, how to work out armhole shaping, how to increase or decrease evenly across one row. There are some bonus resources as well in the VIP sessions, and these are pattern writing guidelines, worked examples of calculations for a set-in sleeve garment and also a raglan sleeve garment, as well as a list of really useful functions in Excel to help you. All of that is for just £97. Now, you won't get such practical help for that price elsewhere, but as promised at the beginning of the webinar, I want to give you more. So my offer to you for sticking with me through this webinar is that if you decide to take these VIP sessions and sign up today at either the knitting or crochet link on the left, I will give you a place on the tech editing introductory workshop for free. So you get both grading and tech editing. Now, the normal cost of the tech editing workshop is £37. But if you are committed to trying both tech editing and grading, then I'll give you access to both workshop sessions for the cost of one. So £97 for a place on the VIP sessions, and you will get the tech editing sessions for free. You might ask me, how do I know your workshops are any good? Well, the best way to judge that is to see what previous students have said. Many of my students are now working full-time as tech editors after taking my workshop and my full course and implementing the strategies I gave them to build their business and to get clients. Here's what some of my students have said. Annie, sorry I missed the last live session today. It's been so lovely meeting you all, and thank you to Carol and Paula for such a fabulous course. Wishing lots of luck and every success to all of those who signed up for the full course, hoping to keep in touch. On the other side, we've got Ashley. That was a great class. I've just finished the quiz and I misread one knit one as a make one, so I'm a little annoyed with myself. It just goes to show you need to take your time. Super interesting stuff. I am delighted I signed up. It's quite a long one over here, so I'll start part way through. I've thoroughly enjoyed the workshop so far, and I really do love this detailed analytical type of work, as well as the aspect of gently and kindly helping people or designers to produce their best product. Now, I haven't had to use my mathematical brain too intensely for the last few years. I do feel I have an aptitude for it and have enjoyed getting a mental workout. I've signed up for the main course. I'm very much looking forward to delving deeper into the world of tech editing, as well as getting to know all of you a bit better too. Now, on the right-hand side, we've got Louise. Louise says, I've just loved this course. Thank you, Carol. Your passion for the subject shines through. I gave up my job as a TA in December 2019 because I knew I couldn't spend the rest of my working life pushing round pegs into square holes. I planned to take a few months to consider my next steps. I started teaching crochet and then the pandemic hit and everything was cancelled. Crochet is the only thing I've ever been properly interested in truly studying and knowing everything about. So this could be a way into working in the industry. Doing the course has been fantastic after so long just doing my own thing. I can't wait for the next course to start. On the bottom, we've got Megan. Yesterday, I did the quiz and I got 90%. I woke up this morning feeling enthusiastic, retook the quiz with a fresh head and scored 100%. Yay, looking forward to the next course. Megan is now working as a tech editor, both knitting and crochet, and she's got quite a few clients already, just in a couple of months after finishing the course. Tracy, on the bottom there, Tracy Driver, so inspired after today's session. I believe in doors opening at the right time. After a difficult 15 months of being unfit for work, I can finally see a way of working from home that I get something from without putting pressure on my crochet design side hustle. Yeah, Tracy is a designer and she has been for a while, but she's been out of her normal work for quite a few years now with illness. So she wants something more that she can do from home. She is now also working as a tech editor and has both knitting and crochet clients. And she is actually doing really, really well. I'm so pleased for her. Some other little mentions on Facebook. Great session today. I've loved learning new ways of seeing the other side of knitting. Thanks for another great session today. You keep catching me out with a sneaky quiz question though, Carol. I definitely need to slow down and read it more than once. Mandy, thank you for yet another great session today. My library of knitting books and textbooks is huge, but I can always find an excuse to add another one to it. And here we've got Louise. Louise says, this year is a turning point to make positive life changes for me, and setting up as a tech editor is a priority. I'm looking forward to the Profitable Knitter course and will do as many as I can live. Now, Louise is wonderful. She's got a full-time, very, very demanding job and young children. She works in the NHS in one of the labs, and she did a lot of the course. She wanted to do as many lives as she could. So she joined us from her car, from wherever she was when things were going on. And she's done really well. And she is already set up as a tech editor. And I do believe she's cut down her normal employment by 1 day a week while she's building up her tech editing work. Now, this one always brings a tear to my eye. This is Ashley. Ashley is based in Canada. I have people from all over the world, even though I'm in the UK. And she sent me a private message, which she gave me permission to share with you. She said, "Hi, Carol. I know you're very busy, but I just wanted to reach out and let you know how much I've enjoyed the course and how much hope it's given me. My current day job is in the court's criminal justice sector, and I am constantly surrounded by negativity and evilness, quite frankly. I have been looking for a way out for years, but nothing has really called to me until now. Knitting has always been an escape for me. To potentially be able to leave the stress and the psychological damage of the courts behind and take a leap into the knitting industry is so exciting, yet terrifying at the same time. You're not only teaching techniques, you are also giving people a chance for a much needed change and an opportunity for independence. Thank you. Wow. That's what I really want for people. I want to be able to give them a transformation in their lives. And that's what I did for Ashley. So just click on the link on the left to get access to the VIP sessions for £97 and the tech editing workshop for free. Both workshops run for 1 hour a day at different times during the same week, but don't forget replays are available if you can't make a session. So why not make a change in your life, just as Louise, Ashley, Tracy, and many others have done, and I would love to meet you soon. Take care and happy crafting.